Welcome back, guys. I have another piece of opal today that we are going to carve with the Dremel. I've got this piece which came as a specimen piece in a parcel I picked, but I think we'll be able to make something usable out of it. So we'll look around the piece. As you can see, it's a thin piece of seam that goes relatively all the way around. So comes up here and back around on the top there for a bit of red in there, following that line and then back around. So hopefully we will be able to make a nice carving out of it. Now I don't know if it will cut one solid gem or if it'll be lots of little pieces. I'm hoping if we can get this cap off the top, skinny down this bottom a bit. There's no other colour elsewhere, so I'm not too fussed. There's a little bit there, but that'll still be there. So we'll take this to the wheels just to take the cap off and the top, and then we'll come back and see what we're dealing with. I will have rounded this edge off a little bit more and go from there. So after a little bit of work on the wheels, this is what we're left with. Just angle the light. There we go. So we've got pretty much a complete bar all the way through. Like I say, there is cracks in this, so I think it'll be like a sort of mosaic, a bit like this corner. But like you see, this colour under this corner is actually quite nice, and there's a little bit of red peeking through on that corner. So it is quite a hefty size at the minute. I've still left quite a little bit on the back just to see where the colour bar goes, and then that way after I can take it back onto the wheels and just give it a final shape on the back to make it a suitable size. So now I'm just going to use the burrs like before in a video, that pack and the more finer pack with the Dremel. There we go, Dremel just for now with a multi-chuck on. So we'll Dremel down, and just as I start seeing colour we'll stop and we'll have another look at it. So I've been working on this for around 20-30 minutes now. We managed to get a pretty consistent layer of opal around the outside, as you can see. Still not worked on the back. And this is what we've got. So it's quite a nice piece so far. Blues, reds, greens. I think the only colour that I can't see in there is purple, but there is a bit of mauve down here. So it's quite a nice piece. So I've stopped with the sintered burrs now, and I'm going to move on to the nova points. So we'll carry on going with the nova points. We'll try and take a little bit more of this sand off, but I don't think I zoom in. I don't think we're completely going to get all the sand out of these cracks. I'm assuming some are either cracks or opal naturally repaired fissures, but it will still make a nice specimen nonetheless, maybe even a bit of jewellery. So I'm going to chuck the nova points in and carry on carving. Right guys, so I've done the Nova points up to 3000, I believe it is, the pink one is. So just giving it a dry off, and this is what we're left with pre-polished. So as you can see, this is dry. There is a few little tiny cracks in there that I probably will fill after a final polish or before the final polish, but it's polished up quite nicely. It's quite a nice little, well, I say little, nice chunky specimen really. That corner is wonderful. It's a shame about all the cracks, but like I say, it still makes for good practice. Any carving for practice is better than no carving at all. So now I'm going to get the felt points out and the cerium oxide, and we're going to give it a final polish and probably take this down a little bit on the back as well, even it up a little bit. So if we did want to do it into a pendant of some sort or a piece of jewellery, then it's not too thick on the back. So I'm going to have a quick look at it, decide whether I'm going to fill those first and then cerium oxide, or just cerium oxide and leave it. Just still need to decide. So I'll see you when I have decided. So now I am done with this. As you can see, I have polished the back up as best as I can on the wheels and skinnied it down quite a bit to make it into a piece that can be used at a later date if I would like to. And this is what I'm left with. So I decided not to fill the holes in the end. They didn't really give me too much trouble through polishing, so I can't imagine they would come out. Like you can see, there's a few little where the webbing meets, basically little holes, but I don't think it will give me a problem. So this came out quite nice actually for such a thin seam. So don't be disheartened if you can't find decent carving material. The thin seam stuff that most people would get rid of, that goes fairly cheap. If you can get hold of a miner to try and get some of this stuff, I highly recommend it. A lot of them, from what I speak to, end up chucking it in the driveway or giving it away, or they just don't pick it up. So I mean, it's not $1 million stone, but it is definitely something nice to look at. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you later.